What makes you think there aren't hardships when you're grown up?
Trash Boat. Crown Shyness. That opener pretty well does speak for itself. And kind of, for the most part, a lot of this album, even more so, I guess, its own title track, which is actually the softer track of it, and it actually isn't just there just for the sake of acoustic balladry or whatever the fuck with other bands. Some pull off that kind of stuff better, and they definitely do with that track, and that's like I think the softest track on here. But every other track on here in this 10-track album, this is apparently being their sophomore effort. I have yet to hear their first one. I probably would like to, but as far as even as a first, definitely a pretty good start. And those who know what Crown Shyness is, it's that thing about when the leaves begin to fall, and it's definitely a fall song, so that kind of works. Even though for the most part this album kind of fits more for like the summer itself, but we're kind of in that nice little go-between at this point, where it is still a perfect time to talk about this record. And it's probably of the more punkier, more punk hardcore, alternative, or indie type stuff in a while that's actually hit me pretty good. Because right now it's been nothing but metal lately. Or even hard rock for that matter. Given Tremonti and Judas Priest and Between the Buried and Me's releases, and even a certain album I still need to get and talk about. I don't know if I'll ever be able to now. Let's just say the Schmodown stuff is probably going to be more often than any movie or music-related stuff. Though I still have a couple albums I still need to do, and a few classics I can still pull out if need be. But that's about it for right now, so just bear with me, guys. I'll at least try to, if anything, hopefully I'll figure out a way to make sure you guys get your reviews when you need them, so when need be here and there, depending on the albums. And plus my glasses are a little crooked, so forgive me for that if it looks stupid, but whatever. This is basically it. Trash Boat was requested by Michael Mykop. I'm sorry, once again, if I butchered your name, dude, who is, of course, of a certain band I had shouted out in my Bandcamp thing that I had forgot to do in the Ian Fisher review thing. If you haven't checked that out, go check that out. Hell, you could even rely on ARTV's recommendation for that EP. And in fact, it was through, I didn't even realize, I kind of heard about this album and this band beforehand. I didn't realize that it was already talked about through Air TV or anyone else like that. So, and this is definitely up there in terms of like the pop punk, melodic hardcore, post hardcore type bands. In fact, I was trying to figure out the lead singer, vocalist Toby Duncan. I was trying to figure out his vocals specifically, and I wasn't entirely sure what it was exactly, but it's pretty clear his vocals remind me of, I think, the dude from Saves the Day. I wouldn't say exactly to the extent of the anthem, but if I'm thinking of the song, or anthem as it's called, I think that's usually where I'm led to with this song, is what it reminds me of, what his vocal style reminds me of, and in a kind of a good way. Plus, that's also kind of melodic hardcore in its own right, so I could see Saves the Day as a little bit of an influence, though I could also see other bands, even that of the likes of Thrice, or even your Sunny Days, a lot of those a lot of what you do expect from a lot of the good to post-hardcore, emo, screamo era, or a lot of the pop punk, melodic hardcore, and post-hardcore, as well as those involved in the emo screamo stuff of the 2000s. Definitely something of this nature is there, and it somehow still holds up and works better than probably most bands that of that era, even to the extent of what Thrice and, well, kind of sort of brand new, I guess. I know that's a touchy subject, guys, but I'm more hurt about the fact that it happened, and Jesse kind of outed himself, and, well, kind of had to pretty well piss stained on everything he's worked so hard for with brand new, because he just couldn't keep his shit together. I just wish he, could have held off a lot sooner. Held off until after they broke up or something, and it might have been a different story, but I'm not even sure of that either. But past that, we're talking about something better with this album, and there are some good lyrics here. I mean, as this opening track that is Inside Out does kind of give you, as what the opener had even stated, how, let's face it, even when you're an adult, there are still going to be those kind of problems. And this definitely does seem to cater into that, and even Crown Shyness itself is kind of a pretty well deals in kind of the analogy of what crown shyness is in terms of the growing of trees and the leaves falling, and some trees growing more taller or something, to the extent of trying to so much grows crown shyness so much grows around me in my solitary. No matter how far I reach, I can't feel a thing. Drowning, so to speak. Tell me, do you even know what depression looks like? This is the chorus part, by the way. Tell me, do you know what depression looks like? Is it tangible? See through every disguise. So much to show, but is my progression finite? Does it matter at all? Lately, I'm feeling like the only tree breaking through the canopy, hoping for sunlight, leaving my roots behind. Talk like you always know what's best for me. The voices, they are deafening, staring past my eyes, telling me how I lie to myself. I have everything that I need, but I can't see what's in front of me. And that's kind of become the main chorus of this, and of course the following verse, that autumn comes to cut me down to size. It becomes it's beautiful to die, still waiting patiently, staring past my eyes, telling me how I die alone. I have everything that I need, but I can't see what's in front of me. That, a lot of, even if you, I mean, that's just an example of that. And every song is like Old Soul, I guess, could be a weak spot, but that's kind of just nitpicking. As far as I'm concerned, even to undermine even the way it ends with the weird clap thing, but at least it just ends and it's whatever. And it's, but I feel like the way this song ends, even with the screaming of the final words of joy, peace, guilt, release, love, hate, react, relate, on the track Love, Hate, React, Relate. Even track Undermine, Silence, just every song on here just finds a way to hit you in that right way, in that sense of, like, it seems to be the newer band that seems to kind of fill that certain void that bands may not seem to be getting much of anymore from either Rise Against or even to the certain extent of ADTR on the more pop-punkier side, which is, at that point, you may as well be nitpicking, because that's still good stuff. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned, my throat's a little messed up. It's, yeah, it's going to be hard to kind of, hopefully you can hear what I'm saying and all the points I'm trying to make. And if I also sound nasally, I'm sorry, too. I mean, even Controlled Burn is a pretty much on the heavier side. The guitars are definitely come through really good. Vocals are great. Even the drumming, nice hardcore drumming is pretty good. Good melodic hardcore that kind of does blur and border the pop punk and post-hardcore stuff, but isn't it technically metalcore, even though for some reason I found this album in the metal section at a V-Stock. By the way, new, so I got it fresh new, and I know for a fact that, at least the band will get some money out of this, since I know some stores don't get more out of it as opposed to the record company as opposed to the band, which sucks. but hell, you're better off streaming, I guess. But I wouldn't say that of this album. It's better off if you do purchase it. Hell, if you find a way to purchase it in a way that's supports the band more, or is easier to support the band more as opposed to all the other sources, then good on you. Because this band definitely deserves it, and I hope they continue to pump out music like this and go far. Because as far as I'm concerned, this album, it rocks and has the potential to be a masterclass. In fact, it's definitely going to be, maybe it'll probably break into my top 5. For sure. For sure. And thank you, Michael, for recommending this to me. I feel bad I had to put it off, but I'm glad I got a chance to talk about it. And I hope that there's some people who, enjoys. In fact, even the scream vocals are really nice too. And I'm trying to figure out my comparison, what bands of that era I could compare it to, but I can't think. But I can't think of it. I know a lot of other bands that have. I mean, if you don't know what where his influences are in terms of the more screaming techniques, like, let me know. Like, or at least of the 2000 stuff, I can't. It's a slight blur in some places to me, so I can't really pinpoint which ones. It could be Jesse. I don't know. I mean, as far as like the clean vocals, I know for sure it's the dude from Saves the Day, like via Anthem or something of that nature. There's definitely something of that here, but in terms. It's definitely not on the whinier side. There's definitely some little less on the less cadence of that nature, and it's damn good. And but I do know there's probably some Jimmy Eat World in there too for influences as well, if not just Saves the Day. Maybe some Pennywise. I'm not sure. No, Rise Against has to be a little bit of an influence, possibly a little bit in terms of the sound at least. Post-hardcore wise, I wouldn't say Brand New so much. I would say certain other bands, maybe Used. I'm not sure on that either. But anyway, either way, whatever. It still rocks. Rocks with the potential to be considered masterclass, if it isn't already at this point. I'm not as excited necessarily, or it isn't necessarily found that right way of hitting me to be instantaneously a masterclass, but it's doesn't hurt it from being a great record at all. If a solid, if not great, or just absolutely awesome. It's good. Good beyond that, actually, but you get my point. I'm going on. What did you guys think about it? About the new now I'm blanking on my own band. Jesus Christ. The new Trash Boat. What did y'all think about it? Leave a comment below. Let me know. If you like this video, rock that like button with thrust if you must. As always, because keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking. I'll hopefully see you in whatever the next video is. Whether it be... Hell, I'm not even sure I'll be able to pull off some of the stuff in the one video I'm probably going to do follow this up, actually. It makes me kind of sad thinking about it. But regardless, take care, y'all.